Hello friends, and a warm welcome to today's mixed media tutorial with me, Lisa Taggart. Today we're going to continue to use some of the new Lavinia stamps from the summer 2023 releases. Hopefully I'll provide some more inspiration for those of you who have purchased the oil stamps in particular. I'm calling this one Full Moon. It's a night scene this time, and I've used a range of art supplies and a number of techniques, including how to stamp with gesso and how to build up a scene using small stamps. But first, let's take a look at the materials for today's project. First up, we have the watercolour card from Lavinia, and also then the masking sheets, which I'll stamp on and cut out for the oils to create the masks. Also we have the acetate circle masks, which I'm going to use the large for creating the moon, and as always a bit of copy paper. Then moving on to the colouring supplies, we're starting with Dinkles Blueberry and Lime Divine. We also have some nice purple, periwinkle, amethyst and magenta, of course. I'm using ink sprays on top of those to darken the background with cranberry, midnight and periwinkle. In terms of the ink pads, we're using Bluebell, Nocturne and Medieval Blue. I have some pan pastels in phthalo green tint, shade, and then this is phthalo green tint. Also titanium white, but chalk pastel pencils would do as well. We're using our Clean Colour Zig Real Brush markers, and there's a variety of colours. We've got browns and greens, blues and greys, some pinks, and also amber and pale brown, but any colours that you have that you feel appropriate. You don't have to stick to what I've used. Also Posca pens in blue, mint and dark pink. We've got sparkle pens, gold, silver and purple, and also as usual the gel pens in yellow and white, and those are the Signo pens, Uniball, and a fine black marker for some highlights here and there, white gesso, and also some water and diamond stickles, of course. In terms of tools, we've got the battery operated eraser for the pastels, we've got a water brush, a couple of paint brushes for various jobs, any paint brushes will do. We have some applicators for the pastels and my makeup brush for some blending with the VersaFine inks. And now the stamps. As you can see, we've got lovely Gus and Bijou, who's been a firm favourite. We've also got Full Moon from the Nightfall set, the Leaf from Woodland and the Vine set as well. So if you want to convert all of that into something a little like this, just keep on watching. Now at this stage I've taken out the sprays because I wanted to make the colours a little deeper, and I wanted to see what would happen if I mixed the powder ink with the spray ink. So we're about to find out. And you know, it doesn't matter that the ink sprays cover up to a certain extent the powder underneath. It still produces a lovely pattern which does peek through in the picture ultimately. So now that I've saturated this poor sheet of watercolour paper, I'm going to make an ink sandwich and see what we've got. Okay, at this stage I've taken out a little leaf stamp, and off camera I have my gesso and I've flattened it out on my craft mat, and I've dipped the stamp into that. Now it's important that you flatten out the gesso because you don't want to put too much on the stamp, because it would not show the lovely pattern on the stamp. So keep flattening it out, and it doesn't matter that it doesn't fully stamp on each occasion, because that will add to the atmosphere of the picture, and it's going to be coloured in eventually anyway. And the reason I do this stamping in the gesso is to provide some opacity for the colouring, rather than using heat embossing. And also don't forget to clean the stamp very well, because that would ruin it if you don't clean it right away. Now heat embossing provides essentially a plastic finish, which is difficult to colour on top of, whereas gesso provides a surface which is matte and much easier to provide colour. So there we are.
I've seen all that you know, but I believe in something untold, and I gotta know if I'm going insane. There's life in the wind, and it's calling my name. It's magic, wouldn't you know? It's something fantastic, wants to be known. All that you gotta do is be willing to look for it. It's magic, alive in my bones.
Now, it was at this stage that I felt a little unhappy with how the owls were coloured. I thought, although they're nice and pretty colours, they were a little bit too bright against a moon background, because anything in front of a bright moon would be partially silhouetted. So I'm taking the Dinkles ink again and watering it down, diluting it down, and just doing a light coat over the top of them, just to darken it down and tone it down so that they're appearing more in silhouette against the moon. And once that was dry, and you'll see that in a little while, I was a bit happier with it. Now, you don't have to do this stage, you know, pretty colouring still looks good, but I just wanted them to be a bit darker in front of the moon, and that's the reason I did that.
There's something fantastic,
final stages. I took the little stamped full moon and mounted it up on some black card onto foam pads and stuck it to the picture. And I'm taking my diamond stickles and just popping those here and there for some extra sparkle. It's interesting that although I used the powdered ink to darken down the owls, the sparkle of the pen still shines through actually. I don't know if you can see it there, but it didn't really interfere that much with the colours underneath, which was an exciting thing to discover. So there you are, that's the finished project. I hope you enjoyed it. And for those of you who are interested, I've curated the products that I use into an Amazon shop front. It is just for the UK at the moment, but the link is below. I obviously get a small percentage if you use the link to purchase the products. So thank you so much for your kind support. And remember, start creating, be brave, and enjoy the journey.
Ooh, somehow, somewhere, somehow, somewhere.